Good morning, everyone, and welcome to BSH Spiritual Healing Center, which is currently online, but we used to be in California and most members still are. So welcome today, and we will also have a special guest. We have a special guest and we will announce him in a minute. But before we begin, we start usually with a prayer. So I'm asking Charles kindly to do our opening prayer. Thank you, Charles.
Certainly, good morning, everyone, on this first day of October 23. My goodness. Divine Creator, it is with our heart full of gratitude that we are grateful for the opportunity to be gathered here once again, in our Sunday morning service. And we ask that our divine mentors, our divine spirits, enlightened spirits that support each one of us wherever we are, with the power of your blessings, so we can have a very productive and learning experience at today's session. So we appreciate all your help, and we extend our vibrations to our loved families, to our friends, and to everyone that we are connected with that also benefit from our experience today. With your blessings, we begin our service. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charles. So we at BSH Spiritual Healing Center have a very busy schedule. We're offering a lot of different activities and studies and healings, so you're welcome to join us at any time. We will be posting the Zoom link, and those of you who are here have it already. So on Mondays, and let me just quickly go over the schedule. As a matter of fact, let me start with the daily prayer. We offer a daily prayer service at 6 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, and from Sunday through Sunday, every single day. So if you feel you'd like to participate, we would warmly welcome you. We know how important prayer is for our well-being and that of the planet. Then on Monday nights, we have a closed group. It's a mediumship study group, and we're studying the mechanisms of mediumship, and we are open to distance spiritual treatments and healings. So if you feel the desire to add one of your loved ones in either realm to our list, so please text us or reach us also on our website, bshcenter.org. On Tuesdays, and that starts at 6:30 p.m., but that's a closed call group. On Tuesdays, in collaboration with Divine Light, we're offering Healing and Self-Healing, a study group. And this book is by Dr. Andre Moreira, and the study group starts at 6:30 p.m. PST. So all the times are PST. On Wednesdays, we offer fraternal counseling, which is by appointment only, and you could reach us at info@bshcenter.org. And then we have a study on inner renovation with Emmanuel and Chico Xavier at 6:30 p.m. And on Thursdays, we have another study group, and we're studying the book Living Spring by Emmanuel. Also, it starts at 6:30 p.m. And on Sundays, as you know, at 10 a.m. PST, we meet for a talk for our spiritual service and healing. And it's usually a talk in the first part, and in the second half, we have a healing. Again, you're welcome to all of the activities. And now let me turn to our dear guest who came all the way from London. I hope your flight was good. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, and what's so wonderful is that he is also part of a BSH Healing Center, and it's the BSH de Menezes, what is it called? Spiritist Society in London. And our dear friend, Leonardo, is a mental health advocate. So we're excited to welcome you, and I invite you all to welcome warmly Leonardo. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Once more, thank you for this invitation. And it's always a pleasure. For me, it's always a blessing to be able to talk about spiritism, to talk about this doctrine. They help us a lot. It's been helping and giving us an open and wider view of the world and of ourselves. So the topic chosen today was serenity. This was a subject that was given to me a few months ago as a challenge, and I've researched it, either in Portuguese and English, and because our talk is in London, they are in Portuguese with translation, and then I found really important this topic, because since the lockdown, since we came back, a lot has been going on, a lot of changes, a lot of challenges. They appeared, and serenity in those moments, is a key, is important. So I will share my PowerPoint. Let me see if I do this right. Can you all see? Yes? Okay. I'm learning. I'm learning this. Okay. I like, I always like to start with the meaning of the word. So looking and researching on different dictionaries online, serenity came across as the quality of being peaceful and calm, refer to being in a calm, peaceful, tranquil, content. Just a moment, there is something in thought. Contented and untroubled state. In other words, a serene state. There's a lot of information here. Since the lockdown, since we were all invited to go and stay at home between four walls, and suddenly stop, even though it was a requirement for our health and protection, it was also a challenge, because we had to stay still. We had to stop. Our pace, our running around, so everything stopped. Most things changed. So most of us, we were not used to be in contact with ourselves. So a lot of, and by being in a daily life and day to day, the distractions of daily life, they impose distractions or issues that come across in our lives. And sometimes we look for those distractions not to be able to reconnect with ourselves or to look at ourselves. So by being standing still, and we had to look at ourselves at some point, it was a challenge, because most of us, we were not used to it. But serenity, it's a tool, it's a quality that we can develop, that will help us to look at life and ourselves in a different way. Continuing and see. Right. As we did a research, and humankind and human evolved, our society evolved since the Earth was a ball of fire, and then all the first beings and life developing and on Earth. once we became spirits, and with our continuous thought process in the humankind kingdom, philosophers, they start realize we need serenity in our lives. They had other words, they have other meanings and other ways of explaining, but in essence, since our beginning as a society, we've been looking for it. We've been studying, thinking about it. I think now the challenge and the invitation is to practice and to adapt in our lives. So in philosophy, around 400 BC, Democritus wrote a treatise on cheerfulness. The term euthymia, or cheerfulness, can mean steadiness of the mind, well-being of the soul, self-confidence. It's interesting, those terms, well-being, steadiness of the mind, which means the mindfulness of nowadays. Well-being, a term that it's really now being a research, being talked about in private settings, in business settings, in religious settings, which is really important that this talk is being now coming up. Seneca, in relation to Democritus' treatise on the subject, states that he will use the Latin word tranquillitas as a rough translation to euthymia. So writing a little letter later than Seneca, Plutarch wrote a similar work, described in the 1589 translation as a philosophical treatise concerning the quietness of the mind. This is so interesting. In different times, and those research, they carry on along along the centuries, because the society has been changing a lot. The challenges, they've been appearing, and because we are always evolving, we need this state within ourselves to be able to check. It's like a self-check state, like a check-in state of how we are feeling, how we are doing, how we are responding to the world. And to know that back in 400 BC, or even later than that, we were thinking about it. It's really interesting. So let me continue. Right. The growing disbelief in the social, political, economic, and religious systems at the 18th century and most of the 19th century promoted a great dissatisfaction of man with himself and with society. The great pessimism, coupled with unbridled materialism, due in part by the failure of religions to update their methodologies of thought, weakening man's bond with hope, encouraging him into abysses of pride, materialism, and lust. We've been seeing that in the past decades, and especially on the 18th century, the 19th century, when all the boom, the phenomenon of spiritualism started. And Allan Kardec realized with his studies and with the findings, with the research, with the spirits, that what made men disconnect with religion was exactly the lack of methodology within those religions or religious thoughts or schools in bridge men with unconditional love, without judgment. So society started to move away from spirituality. And as we know, we are spiritual beings in a material experience. We need spirituality. We need this connection. We don't need to specify how we are going to connect, how we are going to practice our spirituality. In essence, all of them are important, and they come from a place of love and respect and support to help mankind to stay connected to that source of love and gratitude. But we need spirituality. So with that, however, in the meantime, Spiritism emerged in 1857, revitalizing moral ethics based on the divine lessons of Jesus. Since then, although slowly, the proposal of love as an inexhaustible source of happiness has been restored due to its optimistic and realistic contents, which dignify the human species, providing them with the necessary stimuli to develop and reach the heights of personal enlightenment. Spiritism emerged with a message of love, of respect, removing a veil from our eyes and proving to us that life does continue after death, that we are always evolving, and the best way to evolve is practice and to develop habits of love, of respect, and gratitude by know ourselves, even though the invitation to get to know ourselves might be scary at first, but it's necessary for us to widen and amplify our vision of our ways, the journey we are in, which way we are moving to. If we are not happy, we can always start again. So that's one of the lessons. So Spiritism is the new science that comes to reveal to man through irrefutable evidence the existence and the nature of the spiritual world and its relation with the corporeal world, material world. He showed it to us no longer as a supernatural thing, but on the contrary, as one of the living and incessantly active force of nature. With all the findings, with all the researches, Allan Kardec proved that this contact and the spiritual world is it's not supernatural. It's a natural world. It's part of our lives. We are part of that world. So it opened our vision to a new way of seeing life, to vision our uh, our part in on this life we are living, and why we are dealing with what we are dealing, and how we can reconnect with this divine force and change our ways, because everyone can change. The truths of the Spiritist doctrine are based on philosophical basis, are demonstrated in a scientific way, and unfold in religious consequences. So the principles, they are the existence of God, the immortality of the soul, incarnation, the communicability of spirits, reasoned faith, the law of evolution, and the law of love. Reasoned faith, it's really important because it allows us to reflect, to ask questions, to investigate, and that through all the 5 books of the doctrine, the Spiritist book, the Book of the Spirits, mediumship, the Gospel, and so on. Allan Kardec and the Spirits, they invite us to reflect, to ask questions, to have doubts. I don't agree. Why? And so by doing that, we are learning new ways. We are learning important things to us. So it's really important. We don't need to accept a truth because someone is saying that, which is the same as sometimes in our society, we receive those boxes we need to go in. But deep inside, I don't feel like I fit in that box, but I need to make myself fit because society will be pleased. And that where my energy levels will drop. I go into a automatic state, and I disconnected. I get completely disconnected with myself. So, and with the spirituality. That's why being spiritual beings that we are, we need this connection. But we are individual beings. We need to be able to talk, to ask questions. Leon Denis, he says, Spiritism, we have already said, does not dogmatize. It is neither a sect nor an orthodoxy. Or, in another word, orthodoxy, imposing a belief. It is a living philosophy, open to all free spirits, and which progresses through evolution. It does not make any impositions. He proposes, and what he proposes is supported by fact of experience and moral proof. It does not exclude any of the other beliefs. In any writings, we're gonna see the spirits excluding other religions. No. What they invite us to do is to reflect, is to study, is to talk. That's the philosophy part of the doctrine. So, and we can apply to ourselves, which is really important. Superior intelligence opened the way for us. They reveal to us the eternal principles that each one of us adopts and assimilates to the extent of our understanding, according to the degree of development reached by the faculties of each one in the successions of our lives. So they have this respect to give information, to explain to us in ways that we understand. That's why these revelations of spiritual worlds and connection and how this process occurs or happens in mediumship and so on, and the connection is the connection we have with the spirits. Spirituality had to wait because we are evolving our thought process, our grammar, the way we speak, the way we write, the way we understand the world and ourselves. We were still dealing with it in the beginning. And in the 18th, 19th centuries, of the boom of cultural and philosophical boom and scientific discoveries, it was the time to remove that veil and introduce one more tool to our lives. We are always in connection with them. We are always in connection with the higher spirits and love. The doctrine of spirits has a scientific aspect, that is the experimental science that explain how communication and impact occur in everyday life. The philosophical side, through communications from spirits, allows man to renew his vision of the world and himself. The religious side, on the other hand, provides the means for man to transform himself by applying empathy and love in his daily life. It will not be fair in our movement to liberate spiritual life, to do without the science that studies, the philosophy that enlightens, and the religion that sublimates. It's so important that that word empathy and love in our daily life. Those three aspects, religious, philosophical, and scientific, we need to apply in our daily life. And that's the idea of Spiritism. Since we got to know the Spiritist doctrine, or the doctrine of the spirits, it's so important, and we can apply in our daily life, in our discoveries, in our thoughts. And Chico Xavier, the great apostle of divine love, he describes our Emmanuel used to say that we could figure, for example, science as being the truth, religion as being life, and philosophy as being the question of the human creature between truth and life. So in our daily lives, we need that. In our daily lives, we need that ability to basically reflect, that ability, the space to be ourselves or to figure out who we are. We need that. And when we are removed from that space, or we are introduced or imposed or pushed to another space that we are not able to do that. So we are disconnected. And if I am disconnected with myself, I will be disconnected as well with spirituality. Spirituality, on the other hand, will never be disconnected from us. We are not going to be able to realize it because our state, we are closed. We are not allowed to express ourselves. And expression, it's vital and comes in different ways. So as humans, individual beings, unique beings, we enrich our lives and our path by living in a society of, if I can say, different uniquenesses, if I can say like that, beings that are so different, but we learn from each other. And that's what makes our life so rich of flavors and choices and paths. And serenity is linked to that. So in psychology, recently there are a growing number of studies related to happiness and positiveness in psychology as different methods to help a person's mental well-being. While the most known approaches in psychology, biological, psychodynamic, behavioral, cognitive, and humanistic, are still very important, of course, modern research proves that positive thoughts help a person's well-being. Yes. While all those approaches already known, they come from the negative part of the issue. Positive psychology, on the other hand, prepares the way by first focusing on the positiveness to prepare a person to then look at the areas that needed help and needed solved or needed to be looked at. So one method, it's not better than another. As different beings, we need different methods to be able to help us to figure out who we are and where we are and where we are coming from and where we want to go. Because it's a decision. Do I want to carry on in the road I am in, or I want to change? Can I change? Of course I can. Everyone can. How I change? I need a plan. So how I make a plan? I need a support. Which support? There is a therapy, there is studies, there is spirituality. So in connection of that, the base of this, all of these aspects is love, unconditional love. So everything parts from unconditional love. So it's very important, especially now that we just talked about Yellow September, which is mainly in Brazil, I think in America as well, and in some part of the world. So in Bezerra here, we talked about every Friday about the topic, so which is really important. Which comes to this slide, that doll, the Wrong Doll by Penny Goring. When I went to see that art, it was an exhibition. I didn't know the artist, and once I got to know, I had to read about her, I had to see more work of her, because she described exactly what sometimes a word, a comment, an idea, a behavior that's being perpetuated by society and imposed can make people feel. I have the wrong heart, I have the wrong face, the wrong feeling, the wrong leg. I'm too thin, I am fat, I'm not fat. So we need to review those comments, those cultural stated that are rooted in society, and that sometimes we believe in them as truth, and we don't allow ourselves to open our vision because of that, because someone said that's how it is. No, that's not how it is. We are different. And thanks to spirituality, we live in a society that's diverse. And as diverse society, we learn from different aspects, from different colors, different flavors, from different way of seeing society, ways of living, and we figure out ourselves. And serenity help us in that process. Serenity help us. So the cold search for ephemeral and momentary success It's what leads to sadness, physical and mental illness, such as burnout and even depression. The constant pressure of perfection of tasks and results, bumping even the physical image. That is leading people to lose their inner connection with themselves and often believe that they are no longer good enough to belong to society, which we talked throughout September, the yellow September. So it's really important. Everyone is important to life. Everyone is important. And if someone is listening to this or knows someone that's going through a phase, believing in things that someone said to them, ask them to look for help. When we look for help, we are not weak. We are strong because we are looking for help. It's the other way around. Boredom and sameness at the same time a sign of stagnation and signs that it's time for a change. Boredom is mentioned in our home from André Luiz, when one of the mentors, I'm not going to remember the name now, she says to him, when you're bored, it's a sign that you need to change. So if I'm bored with something in my life or in myself, it's time for me, if I don't know how to do, I will ask for help to know how to do it, to plan my new steps. And one of the things we can learn, it's serenity. So this is a quick look: stigma, fear, low self-esteem, detachment from society, lack of purpose, so we stay empty. And the message of the doctrine of the spirits is the opposite. We are all important. We are all important in this society as a group. We are individuals learning to live together and learning from each other. To find our purpose, to fulfill ourselves. So it's a material purpose and it's a spiritual purpose. So we need to juggle those in our lives. Both are important in a way. Divaldo, he says, the old man, in order to shed his characteristic cloak, cannot do so without a great inner revolution. The past of which struggling spirits on earth, it's a whole pile of rubble to be removed in order to rebuild, to re-equip. When we say we need to get to know ourselves, look inside, in the world, is important. Yes, of course it is. But we need to understand it is a step that that we are gonna see aspects of ourselves that we know they were there, but we were trying to ignore. But sometimes we need to know them. We need to get in touch with them. Not all of them at the same time. It's one by one, step by step. So, and this is what Divaldo says as an inner revolution. Because imagine our inner world, without light, and we lit just a little bit of light. We put a little bit more light in with our practice, with our spirituality, with our going to therapy and all aspects of our lives, talking to friends, fraternal talk. And we're gonna see things that were there. We knew they were there. They were disturbing us, but we didn't have or we were told we're not good enough to see them. or we couldn't change them. We can. Of course we can. So yeah, it is step by step. But we're not gonna only see things we don't want. We're gonna see, imagine when we open a drawer and we find a picture of a holiday that we spend with someone we love or friends and family, how beautiful memory we're going to have in that moment. So the same apply to our inner world. When we connect, we're going to see those things that we need to work on, but we are going to also see those victories we had over ourselves. So the struggles we went through and we conquered. Sometimes we forget those, but it's good to look and remember those moments we conquered, moments we passed through obstacles, because those will encourage us to carry on, because we are capable of. And that's what Givaldo says. I am currently reading a book by, I don't know if you know this author, this American, Christine Neff. She wrote a book on self-compassion, which I find the book wonderful and I recommend to anyone. So she says, we are a verb rather than a noun, a process rather than a fixed thing. Our actions change. We are Mercury beings, according to time, circumstance, mood, and scenario. We often forget this and continue in the relentless pursuit of high self-esteem, the elusive holy grail, trying to find the box label good to fit in. I love when she says we are a verb, we are an action, we are changing, we are able to change. We are not defined by our bad moments, by our mistakes. We are defined by the whole thing, by the whole process. The process that already happened, but the process that will happen based on what we are doing now. So let's always remember we are a verb, not a noun. This is a beautiful quote. I can never forget that. So, and she continued saying, why if instead of trying to define our worth with judgments and evaluations, we looked to an entire different source for our positive feelings about ourselves? What if those feelings come from our hearts instead of our mind? Self-compassion does not attempt to capture and define the value or essence of who we are. It's not a thought or a label, a judgment or an assessment. Rather, it's a way for us to bond with the mystery of who we are, rather than managing our self-image so that it is always palatable. Self-compassion honors the fact that all human beings have strengths and weaknesses. So when we have and develop self-compassion, serenity comes in and we are able to look, to open our vision and to look at ourselves, to look at our strengths and weaknesses, to make our strengths stronger, maximizing them so we can get to know our weak points, reflect on them, and start working on them. It's what Andre Moreira says. It's the vision of a point or a point of a vision. So depends where we are. We want to have a different vision of ourselves, and that's what self-compassion and serenity does. So self-compassion is acceptance in action. So Louise Ray, I'm sure in America she's very known. Divaldo used to talk a lot about Louis Ray. Uh, when we understand that our thoughts control our lives, and that the only thing we have to control is our way of thinking, we acquire a power that's almost miraculous. This awareness gives us enormous possibilities to improve the quality of our lives and free us from fear. And remember, fear, like everything else we believe in, is just thoughts. Thoughts can be changed. So it's an invitation to review our thoughts. But serene, what does it mean? Serenity is the possession of a steady spirit that provides a consistent way of being in the world no matter what. This steadiness is rooted in an unflappable inner sanctuary that has room for both sadness and joy. It's a real look into ourselves. Serenity is an achievement that is achieved with personal effort and step by step is small challenges that are overcome. And we get to the end. Um, this prayer, it's very known. So that's just a part of it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. This prayer talks about the importance of accepting situations with clarity, having the courage to overcome them, and the wisdom to conduct the process in the best way we can. It's a recipe for a healthy emotional life. We go through our lives, we need to recognize, can I change this? I think I can. I don't know how. I will find a way. I will ask for support and I'll try to plan a way to change it. It will be a process, be a long process, step by step, on our time, but we are moving. Remember, we are a verb. We are moving. Um, if it's something that at that moment I cannot change, I will accept, but I will not accept to give in, but I will accept to change. It's different. I'll keep moving. I'll keep learning from it. It's different than just give in or give up. It's completely different. I'm getting to the end. I don't know how long I have more, but how to develop this state of being. In order to preserve our own peace, it's essential that we are willing to keep careful attention to ourselves. The conflict of unmeasured results can arise from the explosion of uncontrolled feelings. However, peace is not achieved without effort. No one has a serenity that he has not built, hence the imposition of surveillance on ourselves. Um, in short, serenity is not a spiritual acquisition that is achieved by magic. This is Chico Emmanuel saying, but through the often hard and rough work of patience in action, which is love. Love to ourselves, love to our neighbors. So when we start doing the necessary, we are gonna do the possible, and suddenly we are doing the impossible, which we're gonna start practicing self-knowledge. We're gonna be reconnect with our essence. We are gonna forgive ourselves and we're gonna love ourselves. We're gonna practice gratitude. We are gonna give importance to the spiritualization of our being, and we are gonna give and receive. This is charity. This is love. So to finish, I finish with Allan Kardec saying, Spiritism accomplishes what Jesus said about the promised consoler. Knowledge of things, making man know where he comes from, where he's going, and why he is on earth. Calls for the true peace of God's law and console through faith and hope. I would like to finish saying we are all important and we are all beautiful in our uniqueness. and the help is available. We are not alone. And Serenity, it's a tool that we all of us can develop to help us in this process. I really thank you very much for this opportunity to talk about Serenity, which I think we all need to develop, and it's so important to help everyone and ourselves. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Leonardo. What a timely subject in our world. And as you pointed out, actually always, right? It's always been a challenge for us people, so to speak, on planet Earth. And what I also really enjoyed is the fact that you made it so clear that serenity and peace and all the virtues essentially, right, are an inside job. That means it's an inner revolution. It's from the inside out. And what does it boil down to essentially? Love, right? You said that too. Because
it's so important. It's something that sometimes we are made to believe we cannot develop it, we are not worth to develop it, but all of us can develop step by step, not a time, but we can develop serenity, self-love, all the virtues.
Yes, and in that is the message of self-empowerment. We're never victims. We can do it. It's our choice, so to speak, right? So that's really wonderful. And I remember that I think it was in the greater world where Andre Louise tells us the same message also. I mean, we hear it from all sides in Spiritism, that for us to create peace is to go within and follow the divine laws, which is love. And there it is, connecting with love, knowing that we actually are love, right?
Like from love, we are love. And if we learn to practice love to ourselves, and respect ourselves, we are going to see others in another light. We are going to see others as our brothers and sisters. We're going to see the other with more respectful eyes. If I don't know how the other it's moving and what his believes and thoughts, I will ask. I will inquire. That's the philosophical part of it. I am able to. This is what makes us unique. This ability to know from each other and to learn from each other. This is so important.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, we're feeling already more serene after your talk, knowing it's all in our power. Thank you so much, Leonardo. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and we're opening the floor to anyone who would like to ask questions or make comments. So please.
Hi, Leonardo.
Hello.
One of the things that I'm walking away with is, although I know, but I'm still walking away with is, it's a recipe to know yourself.
Yeah.
And within this recipe, there's different actions you have to take, you know, like writing down your thoughts so that that'll help you see inside yourself. You write down what you love so you can see inside yourself. Why you dislike somebody or hate a particular thing. This is another way of seeing inside yourself, whether it's a country or a people, a color of people or whatever. These are ways to find about yourself to get in there. And then the other part of it was, you know, paying, of course, careful attention to all these different thoughts that you're having, and to correct these things as you come along, or find a way to correct them little by slow. I don't think there's no magic. And then there's the other part of the recipe, finding that peace and joy in your truth, which is the spiritual part of it, knowing that you are a spirit in a body, finding more about your essence, your the truth, being forgiving, and finding more joy with the meditation. You know, I think I think it was good it's always good to have a recipe, no matter what direction it goes in. And a lot of times we say things, but do people know the recipe? You know what I mean? How to get there, you know? Anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And I think the recipe is there, and we have all the ingredients. That's the beauty of it. We all have the ingredients. Because for so many centuries, we've been told we're not good enough. We're not good enough. We're not good enough. And in so many different aspects that we start believing in it. And now, since the doctor and spirits revealed to us that no, it's not like that. You can do it. You are all spiritual beings in a material experience. You can do it. You have all the ingredients within you. We need to learn how to connect with those ingredients or tools you've just said, and they are there available to us. And why we are doing that to ourselves, getting to know ourselves and getting connection with our truth, we can help others as well along the way, and that's the part of helping each other. It's we are all brothers and sisters in this walk.
Thank you, brother. That was very good to understand the meaning of serenity. And in all the religion, they ask you to know yourself, and they teach that. And even in Japan, that they don't call religion, they have what they have. That they believe that we should know ourselves. And that is that Jesus brought that was nice. Yeah, we should know where we come from, what we are here to do, and where we are going. And that is what nobody can tell us, even until they didn't see that other side. They don't know where they come from, and most of us, we don't know why we are here, because so now that we know ourselves, we don't know why we are here. That is the first thing that we should know, and that is very good what you explained, that that is individual. Everybody should know himself by himself. We shouldn't follow blind what our fathers and mothers and the others brought to us. We shouldn't believe even the books, even they are very good. We should read our inner books that is with us, and we should find us. So long that we cannot find ourselves and what is in us, that this connection that you said is very important, that we should connect ourselves with the Creator, because we are a part of that. We are not separated. That is like a drop of water that is separated from the ocean, but it wants to go to the ocean. So long that it's not with the ocean, it doesn't know what it is and can be not useful. And so are we. I want to thank you very much for your presentation, and thank you for all the things that you explained very clearly and with all respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, Leonard, I really appreciate your presentation, especially because you brought to our attention the importance of have a distinction between spirituality and religiosity. And I think that's essential for us to have a clear understanding of that. And serenity is exactly about that. It doesn't matter which religion you subscribe to, you follow, it is all about the spirituality. So I really appreciate that. And it's an awesome contribution. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you. Sorry, there is I think a psychiatrist in Brazil, now I'm not remember her name. She's quite famous at the moment, and she said, not giving an example of mention any religion specifically. But she said it's essential for for everyone's well-being, spirituality. Men need well-being. Through their well-being, need spirituality, need this connection. And it's not about religion; it's about connection with the source of thought, and it's so important. And I was so
Yeah,
happy that the psychiatrist said that.
yeah, I appreciate that because it just in hindsight that when Allan Kardec came about and when Spiritism came on, at the same time we had the introduction of a communism.
Mhm.
So it's a different parallel, right? A different thing that we need to be mindful of. And the communism is celebrating materiality, and the Spiritism is celebrating spirits.
It's the
Yeah,
opposites.
the opposite. Very good.
So Leo, is a great topic always, and you can present it 100 times, and it will be find a lot of to talk about. No, because serenity. If you look in the Bible, serenity, the word serenity in English does not work. You will not find it, but you will find peace a lot in all the whole Old and New Testament. They will talk about peace. And as you were talking, and the mentors, the spirit around us, no, um, they were saying to remind ourselves that the great law, the universal law, the first law that was given to Moses is love. Is to love God above all, no, and the second biggest universal law. And they said it's not just for our planet, not just for our galaxy, but it's for the whole universes, is to love one another as we love ourselves. And said it's just what our Lord Jesus Christ came to earth to do, is to teach us to love. And if there will not be serenity, there will not be peace, like all your whole presentations say very well, and to know ourselves. And we have a great topic here for the inner renovation classes, and for us to go back to these teachings today that you brought to us, and you putting out together from the spirits and from the teachings and of spiritism, that clarifies to us more, because it is so hard for us, as your therapist, I'm a therapist, and it's so hard. People come to us, they are in a war inside of themselves, and trying to find serenity in ours, and I do not recognize that is inside of them, and the search. Now, I think our dear sister Sunshine today, on their daily message that she posts in our group and the Workers of the Light, they say, do you believe that an era of peace on the other side is possible without people preparing themselves on the inside to observe and practice the divine law? So she brought that from in the Great Award from André Luiz and Chico Xavier. So we cannot find it outside. We can come today, participate in this beautiful presentation, this beautiful service that you are offering now to us, teachings, food for our thoughts. But if our mind is not here, listen to your message. Listen to what you have prepared. I always said, when we pray, let's reconnect with those who are praying. Let's disconnect our mind from the outer world and get peace and harmony for us to connect with the brother or sister who are doing a presentation, who are talking. And it is hard because sometimes we don't want to listen because we don't want to find the solution. No? we want to keep in the war. We want to keep in blaming. No, you want to keep in judgment and point fingers. But we forgot that all of this we will find when we really know ourselves. When we really know who am I, what I'm doing here, where I come from, where I'm going from here, what I will take with me after here. So when we have that consciousness that is not about others, not blaming others, but it's only blaming myself, and the answers and the corrections is on myself. And then we will find serenity, the forgiveness. No, if I keep hating and judging and punishing on myself or others, the world will be just growing and growing and growing. So we'll be taking lives after lives after lives until we will one day, for sure. I'm sure God trusts us so much that one day we will find this serenity. I really appreciate your time putting all this together, and I really I will ask everybody who are in the education, self-education of inner transformation, inner renovation, please go back when you are in silence or you are driving or whatever you find the time to go back and listen to the lesson today that will be on YouTube this evening. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much, sweetheart.
My gratitude. My gratitude. Thank you.
Are there any other comments, or are we ready to transition?
Yes, may I say something else? That is what I have learned through my life. I am 86 right now, and the question that Jesus makes, where we are coming from and why we are here, what we have to hear, and where we are going. What I understood, and the scientists, they say that too, that we came from the Creator, and that is that we believe that. And the scientists say that too, that there is one universe, there is unit. And why we are here, as the gospel says, and the other religion believe that too, that we came here to present the Creator, and we should follow what they did. And what Jesus did is love your enemy, unconditional love, and forgive your enemy too. These two, when we present only this, with act, this two is enough to be like the Creator. And where we are going after that, we are going to our Creator. That is the three ways that I understood through my life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohsen. Thank you. Yes, and thank you so much, Leonardo, one more time. Thank you for being here, for your time, and this beautiful, important talk.
Thank
Yes.
you. My gratitude. Thank you very much. It is important. It is the subject, especially now with September 11th, Yellow September. I think in America as well, no? And so it's so important, this message of hope.
Yes.
We are not alone.
Yes. And it's interesting that you're saying that. Yesterday was our United States Spiritist Federation meeting, annual meeting in Portland, Oregon, and it was about mental health. It tied into Yellow September, and it's exactly the same message and what you just said. So yeah, it's all, I think the spirits all want us to hear the same message from different angles, you know, they're all working on us. Yes.
We don't forget.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks again. So we're going to take 2 minutes. It's 11:11 here at Pacific Standard Time. So let's make it 11:13, 14. And then we'll begin with our second half, and that will be the healing. And Leonardo, you're welcome to stay.
Okay.
Yes.